Item. SCP-292. Object Class. Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-292 is to be kept at Site-72, in a guarded room in a locked, padded container set up to avoid movement of or damage to SCP-292. Access to SCP-292 is prohibited without Level 3 authorization. Site personnel must report all incidents of déjà vu or related symptoms to site administration. Description: SCP-292 is a 60-second brass hourglass, 10 cm tall. When all its sand is at the bottom and SCP-292 is flipped over, only two outcomes have ever been observed. Either the sand runs out normally after 1 minute, or SCP-292 is knocked over on its side. If SCP-292 is knocked over, anomalous properties do not again manifest until all the sand in SCP-292 is in one bulb. At no time has SCP-292 ever been observed to be flipped over a second time within 60 seconds, except when knocked over as above. Any time SCP-292 is upright and all its sand is in its bottom bulb, and a subject attempts to flip SCP-292 over with the intent to flip it again before all its sand runs out, the subject and people nearby suddenly experience déjà vu. The intensity of déjà vu is inversely proportional to a person's distance from SCP-292. The subject is often momentarily stunned by the experience. Persons experiencing déjà vu from the same event often describe similar recalled experiences. It is believed that when SCP-292 is flipped over, a process is started in which, if SCP-292 is flipped again before its sands run out, time flows in reverse to a point a couple of seconds before SCP-292 was initially flipped. One time then flows forward again as if SCP-292 were never flipped. Déjà vu would thus be a side effect of this process. Prolonged exposure to SCP-292 can cause nausea, migraines, vertigo, hallucinations, seizures, and symptoms consistent with temporal disjunction, somatic, psychological, or both. 2.